Welcome to the Gringos in Buenos Aires podcast, a podcast that brings expat/immigrant life to you. And I'm here with the Wall Street Geek on his second tour of duty here over the rainbow in Buenos Aires. Let's give a warm welcome to Daniel. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right, thank you so much. How you feeling? You feeling a little nervous? Some people get a little...
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. This is my first podcast, if you will, or is that what you call it? A podcast?
It's just a show.
It's a show. Okay.
It's a show.
I've had some press, like newspaper articles and stuff, but never like
really
TV. Yeah.
People writing about you about what? Like what?
The fact I'm here. The fact that I am launching for the investment bank I'm working for. A brand new area for them and a brand new area for Argentina. Argentina really has never had a private credit business, which I don't want to geek out and bore everybody with what private credit is, but it's new to Argentina. I've been doing it for 20 years, and there's not that many people in Argentina that know how to do this, which is basically raising money for companies, cross-border money. So I tie together foreign investors that are interested in lending money to Argentine companies, and I help these Argentine companies prepare on how to raise it, the structuring, and all that stuff. So I tie the two things together.
Dude, that just blew my mind, having lived here since the 90s. Investment money, companies, Argentina. It's just like, what? Are you crazy? What do you know? It's like it's quite a challenge.
It is. I mean, I don't feel that way because I started in emerging markets in 1992.
1992.
I've been doing this for a long time, and a lot of it in Argentina. So I've seen the Tequila Crisis, the Asia Crisis, the Russian Crisis, the Argentine Crisis.
Yeah.
So I've seen all kinds of cycles and been able to make money and make good investments on behalf of either who I was working for or for the other investors. So, once you know how to do it and you're careful about who you're lending to or dealing with in the emerging markets, Argentina obviously being one of them, you kind of get the hang of it.
It's kind of flight time.
Yeah.
Kind of like, hours behind, it's like a flight simulator.
It is what it is. You kind of take your past experience and you put it to work in the current context. And the current context is very favorable. Argentina has a lot of tailwinds. And so the opportunity set, as you said, it's my second tour of duty. I came here in 2014 with basically a big checkbook from an investor, and we just did a lot of deals.
Oh, wow.
And so now comes round two. A little different because I don't have that big checkbook personally behind me, but I know those that do, and so companies are...
It's all about, where the cheese is.
It's where the cheese is.
Exactly.
So I have to find the mouse on the one side and match it up with the cheese on the other.
Stay away from the trap.
From the trap. And there's plenty of traps in this country.
Yeah. Argentina, it's given your experience, it is a unique market in many ways, one of which being what? Apart from the corruption and, the loopholes and the red tape, what is one thing that makes it unique?
Oh, there's so many things that make it unique. If your question is geared to what makes it unique for investors to be interested in it, I can go as shallow as you want, which is this is investors' favorite country to come visit. Obviously, they come down and they can stay in Puerto Madero or Recoleta, Palermo Chico, very nice areas, and say, wow, what a fantastic country. You eat well, nice people. Yeah. Why does everybody trash Argentina? Perfect. It's perfect, right? Sure, yeah. And so it is a lot of investors' favorite place to come and and investigate what the opportunities are.
Yeah.
And then they kind of figure out, oh, wait, there's Argentine politicians, and they tend to screw everything up all the time. And that makes it the challenge,
Sure.
currency, all kinds of things. So right now, it's a good time. There's a lot of interest here. There is no, and I'm going to geek out here a little bit, but there is no local capital markets, right? So companies can't issue in the local market of any size. The banks really don't lend. So what are companies supposed to do? If you're not YPF or one of these big blue chip Argentine companies, no one has access to capital.
No existís.
No existís. And that therein lies the massive opportunity set for bankers, financiers, whatever you want to call us, to kind of step in and help these companies, the ones that obviously need capital for whatever reason, to find investors and grow their businesses.
The last, let's say, credit remotely close to financing was the Plan Rombo, which was a plan that I paid for 2 years. I paid monthly installments to get a brand new car, a Renault.
Okay.
They had it called a Plan Rombo.
Okay.
And every month they had a drawing. And if your number came out, you would say, okay, hey, listen, you can come get the car, but you still got to pay the rest of the... That was the closest thing to financing was a Plan Rombo. And that's how I got... Because it's a cash economy.
It is a cash economy.
And without any financing, it's really hard for anyone to have any...
Again, I'm trying not to geek out for your followers,
go ahead.
but
you can geek out all you want, man. I mean, that's good.
If you look at Latin America, let's forget about developed markets, right? As a percentage of a country's GDP, most Latin American countries have a credit economy. We call it private credit, meaning banks, local money, that are around 70 to 80% of GDP.
Sure.
Argentina is at 8. So, like you said, it's a cash economy. There's no mortgage market. There's no credit market. There's nothing.
No.
And that is where the opportunity really lies. I mean, if politically, Argentina can maintain some degree of stability, and macroeconomically as well, that will grow.
Yeah, but people need to make money. If you can lend somebody money, but if they don't have a source of income, they're not going to pay you back, and that's bad business. Unless
I mean, I don't lend to individuals. Yeah. I lend to companies, which I want to believe that as they expand, they will need to hire people to build their businesses, and that's where hopefully some employment growth can happen. But
what kind of
one
businesses?
One thing Argentines are incredibly impatient. So someone announces something, and then they say the next day I didn't notice anything. I don't feel anything different. Well, this stuff takes time, The political system in this country has existed, if you want to call it the Peronist system, has existed for 80 years in power? Is it really realistic to change 80 years worth of history in a couple of years? No, it's going to take time. Our generation's not going to see it. Probably the next generation isn't going to see it. It's going to take some time to work its way through, but in the meantime, you have to head in the right direction.
Yeah, where do you put your chips now? I mean, what's the market that's the companies that have the most potential? Let's say agriculture, farming, electricity.
Argentina historically has depended and only had agriculture as its source of hard dollar exports.
That's
right?
one of the reasons why it never goes broke.
Well, it's gone broke 20 times, but it's the one that keeps, Argentina on the map. So now you've got oil and gas, the whole Vaca Muerta development, so making Argentina now go from being a net importer of energy to now being a net exporter of energy. That's more dollars are going to start coming in. There's lithium. Argentina is blessed with so many natural resources. Oil and gas, I think the third largest in the world. Second largest lithium deposits in the world, and everybody needs lithium now for the EVs, the electric vehicles and batteries and things of that nature. And then there's mining, gold, copper, and uranium. Big strategic materials for the US and China and other global superpowers. So if they can get it right, there's no telling how rich Argentina can return to being after being, the sixth wealthiest nation in the 1920s, late 1800s, early 1920s. Extremely wealthy. Huh. There's no reason why it can't be wealthy again. Depends on how you define wealth, of course. Yeah. But
where the wealth goes.
Because
if it's not going anywhere, it's going, to where the wealthy are, and people 51% poverty or 49. I think it's down at 48% poverty, and it's such a rich country. It's kind of like it makes no sense.
It does make no sense, but when you create a state as big or a government as big as Argentina has, there is a big crowding out. In economics, there's this concept of crowding out. When the government is so big and borrows so much money, it crowds everything else out: employment growth, job growth, borrowing. So it kind of stagnates. And then you have governments that come and go and keep changing their policies every few years, and the regulations change. No one can invest for the long term, which is what any country needs, if you're fearful that as soon as the next election happens and we swing from one extreme to the other extreme, and then they freeze tariffs or they make regulatory adjustments that ruin your investment. Perfect case in point. A lot of people invested with Macri during that whole rally, got very excited with Macri's administration, and they lost their shirts because after Macri, for whatever purposes, didn't quite work out. It's not for this podcast to explain, but then came, this other government and changed everything back. And so it's very difficult to invest in anything if you don't know if the rules of the game are going to change on you on any given day, week, month, or year.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense in every aspect of life, especially when there's a lot of money involved. You don't want to walk into a room and it's painted white. Then next day you walk in, it's painted black. The next day it's painted red. You don't know what color the room is.
You don't know. And one of the things that Argentines, or certainly Argentine politicians, don't really understand is you're competing for capital from all over the world. So if I'm an investor and I have $100, am I going to invest in Argentina, Mexico, Chile, Peru, Bolivia, Italy, France, Asia, Japan, Korea? Where? I'm looking for the best opportunity, risk adjusted, right? I want a good return, and I don't want to have to deal with, can I get my money out? Are there currency restrictions? All right. Sure, yeah. So it's hard to attract investments when you're competing against other much more stable economies stable political structures, stable social structures, and they just don't realize that I have a choice of investing. Now, especially, the world in 2026, money flows quickly and
from phone to phone.
to wherever, the investment opportunity sounds best.
Sure.
It's
from phone to phone.
From phone to phone, we can fly everywhere now. Oh, I've got an investment opportunity in, I don't know, Angola. Okay, let's get to Angola. Let's do a FaceTime with the company in Angola. Tell me about your investment opportunity. Oh, that sounds really interesting. Let me do some work. Okay, here's $50 million for your cacao processing plant in Angola.
Yeah, let's imagine someone is thinking about exporting, I don't know, sunflower oil. Where would you start?
It's a good question. You have to understand. The first thing you have to understand is there a demand, and where's that demand for sunflower oil? Then, can you produce sunflower oil here in Argentina?
Yeah, you can. 2 hours from here.
No. That's not. No. You didn't let me finish. Can you produce it at a competitive price?
All right.
Sunflower oil is a global commodity. It has an established international price. Now, if that price is 100 to you, and invent a number, right? But it costs you 120 to make that ton of sunflower oil. Sorry, buddy, you're not competitive. You should choose something else. So the first thing you have to do is really understand, are the economics of producing and exporting sunflower oil worth your time and effort? Because, people think, oh, yeah, I'm going to create this product and sell it. Okay, at what price? Well, I don't know. Determine what your end price can be, then determine what the cost of producing that good is going to be, and see if there's any profit. No one does a business to lose money, right? So,
Sure.
And analysis is the first step before making any decisions.
Yeah. Let's say I got a big container full of sunflower oil.
Yeah.
I got to get it out of the country. What do you got to do?
Well, first you have to understand, this is not what I do, so I don't know how to answer it perfectly. But you find out, what are the exporting rules for sunflower? What are the logistics of exporting that container? Where is it going? Have I pre-sold it? Who am I selling it to? Where am I sending it? What do I need in order to be able to even get it out?
Who do I have to pay to get it out?
That too.
Yeah.
So now when you have part of the problem, when you have so many regulatory hurdles and corruption hurdles, it's...
Sure.
And everybody complains how, things are very expensive in Argentina. Well, no kidding. Yeah. When you have the level of taxes and hurdles and export taxes and this tax and that tax, and you have to fill out this little piece of paper and that little piece of paper, it becomes, in many cases, uneconomic and uncompetitive to be in that business.
I heard Argentina has more taxes than any other country in the world.
By far.
By far, huh?
By far.
Yeah. And VAT at 21% is insane.
It is. And you have impuesto a los ingresos brutos. So you have a sales. Your revenues get taxed. And then on top of that, your net income gets taxed.
Whammy.
It's insane. Yeah. It's insane. And that's what makes, Argentines complain about how expensive. I went to this retail chain, Zara, right? Zara. And I go to the one in New York all the time, and the one here and the one there. And so I decided to go to the Zara here, I think in Alto Palermo, I think there's one shopping center. I couldn't believe the prices. They're known for being a very reasonable, high
really?
quality. Zara is very, it's called fast fashion, and they are very economic.
Affordable,
Affordable. Not in Argentina.
Nada que ver.
Nada que ver. And so I was stunned. And then I did some research, and the same product. Obviously, Zara does not produce anything in Argentina, which probably is for the better. But by the time you import it, you settle all the taxes. The cost of transportation here is insane. Logistics. The logistics is very expensive. So you start adding all these costs, and it's no longer an inexpensive piece of clothing. I mean, there was a big brouhaha a couple of weeks ago when the Minister of Economy, Toto Caputo, was talking about clothing here.
Shine, this Chinese company.
And Shine, and I mean, Shane, he said, no one buys clothes in Argentina. I would never buy clothes in Argentina. Why? It's too expensive. And so, and then you start doing the analysis and you say, okay, well, it's expensive because of a variety of reasons, including all these taxes and regulatory hurdles that they place. And then sometimes, previous governments always said, we need to protect the local industry. So we won't allow the imports, white goods, refrigerators, iPhones. They said, we need to build it in Argentina, right? Which is an admirable thought, but it actually does a lot of damage because when you don't have competition, you can charge whatever the heck you want.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And now, me being in the finance world, I'm seeing all these companies file for bankruptcy and laying people off. No kidding.
Yeah.
When there's no inflation and you need to start competing with products, you better be a fairly efficient and productive manufacturer of whatever you're producing, or else you're going to go under pretty quickly. And this is what we're seeing. It's a really interesting time.
Yeah, sure.
Not surprising what's going on. I mean, I've seen it before, and I'll probably see it again, but it's when you have such a closed economy to protect, you open even slightly.
You think Argentina's on the right path? Financially?
From an economic vision, yes. Fiscal balance. No more printing press. Yeah. That's why inflation has come down. Yeah. They're being very orthodox. No one, you and
well, our president's Jewish.
What's that?
Our president's Jewish.
Well, converted, right?
No, I heard I heard something on. I got a message on Instagram that he's Netanyahu's.
Oh, that's
it's fake. It's fake news.
That's super fake news.
Some black dude. He was born in Philly. And yada yada yada. And Javier. I was like, what?
Not at all.
What? Netanyahu is his uncle, and he's like, and it was like.
Basically, those types of.
I'm from Philly. That's why he was like, what?
Those types of. I don't know if that was on Twitter.
It was on Instagram.
Those are very anti-Semitic for me, being Jewish. That's a very anti-Semitic type of commentary. Yeah. That because, he had, because of the way he is, he's got to be Jewish that way. He has to be, tied to Netanyahu. It's really interesting, but yeah, super fake. Super fake.
All right.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, because I was like, wow, he's from Philly. damn.
You-
I was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah,
Someone
doesn't know how to really speak
someone with
English,
ties
but-
to Philly is the president of Argentina, and here I am. I'm from Philly.
Yeah,
It's
there
like,
you go.
Maybe I get in the door
I often
somewhere.
see Javier Milei, wearing his Flyers and Philly shirts all over the place.
There you go. When I went to the Pink House, and I left an envelope with a copy of my book. I wrote a book about Spinetta.
Okay.
I was a good friend of mine, Spinetta, and I left because I wanted to work, offer my service as a translator. Yeah, just a Philly go-getter. It's like, but that was something that came to mind. So it's a good time for.
It's a good time. It's not without its desafíos.
It's challenges, obviously. Living in Argentina is a constant challenge.
The challenge.
Never a dull moment.
He needs to focus. Government, society needs to focus on employment growth.
Yeah.
Which is tough.
Which is key.
Because he's got structural challenges here locally, right? But globally, we have the biggest challenge of them all, which is AI.
Yeah.
So he's got the double whammy of trying to create the environment for employment growth in Argentina, which is not going to be easy, while at the same time, everybody is adjusting to the reality of AI and, I don't need to hire anybody. I'll just, I'll have Claude or ChatGPT or one of those.
Yeah, sure.
So, there's plenty of challenges. Cool. Nothing ever in finance and economics is linear.
Sure.
Nothing ever goes straight down to the bottom, and nothing ever just stays straight. There's all kinds of variations. So but right now, we're in a good place. We're in a better place. I wouldn't say good, but we're in a better place. And to be honest with you, the market, investors, earlier I was talking about you need to have some kind of a horizon, an investment horizon that makes sense. The market now is starting to put probabilities on, okay, if we have another 4 years of Milei or orthodox macroeconomic management, if you want to call it that, then all bets are off, and then we could really see a very interesting structural change here. But the society has to change with it.
Sure.
I mean, this is
not going to happen on its own.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's when you're not thinking about finances and money, what do you like to do? What do you do in Buenos Aires?
Well, I got here not too long ago, but I love art. I've got friends that are art collectors, so I spend a lot of time with them, or they invite me to gallery openings, or we'll go to museums.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Cool, man.
Yeah, so art is, and some of them I say, please advise me, because I want to buy some Argentine art, but I know nothing about it, so help me out.
So art is an investment.
No, because art is hard to. I don't think about it. If I like it and I enjoy it visually, I want to see that every day. Every time I look at it, I might see something different. Or
I get you there.
Something like that. So
I have a painting. It's got to be about 100 years old. And it's a landscape, and every time I look at it, man, I just notice something new.
Exactly.
It's a typical, farm landscape, and there's an old guy on his horse, and there's another guy walking. And every time you look at it, you just, I don't know, it's like a breath of fresh air.
It's amazing what art can, and on top of that, there was a period maybe 3 years ago that I said, you know what, I'm gonna take up art. I want to see what I can do, and I went to the art store and I bought all my art supplies. It's hard as hell. And so now I can appreciate art even more, because I look at it and say, how the heck did he or she paint that or sculpt that? Because I've tried it myself, and I was a massive failure. On top of that, I ran into this expat group of pickleball players. billionaires.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I probably know some of them.
So
Christian.
Yeah, Christian.
Yeah.
Christian was one of the first to. He got here from Thailand, and he basically initiated it. Anybody know? So now it's turned into a pretty decent group. Unfortunately, I got injured playing pickleball a couple of weeks ago, so I'm taking a little bit of time off. So playing sports, pickleball, traveling. This country is beautiful.
Sure.
So vast and geographically diverse. I just spent a nice 10 days in the Seven Lake region in Bariloche. It was amazing. Amazing. So a little of everything, but I'm also kind of a go-getter. So I met this chef at a restaurant. She owns this is her second restaurant. And she makes, for me, the best empanadas I've had in Buenos Aires.
Oh, all right. Are they fried?
No.
Oh, they're in the oven.
They're in the oven.
Baked.
She does make them fried, but I think I've tried one fried, but most of them are all. Yeah. And she just rolled out a new one. It's trout. I don't eat fish, but other people I've taken them to the restaurant. They said amazing trout empanada, and so I said, okay, these are amazing. I'm going to take these to New York. So I'm putting a business plan together for how we can do an empanada business in New York. So I love ideas.
Business is on your mind.
I love ideas. Yeah. It can be an art related business. It doesn't matter. I like thinking. I like being creative. I like trying to find solutions. Everybody focuses on problems, and there's tons of problems.
Sure.
But sometimes it's more fun to say, okay, let's come up with a solution. Sure. I mean, if you think of some of these massive billionaires and successful business people, they just came up with solutions to problems that they ran into every day.
Yeah. How's your castellano?
Muy bien.
Muy bien.
Creo. Hablo muy bien. Me falta vocabulario.
Oh, okay.
So yo aprendí en casa. No soy educado en castellano.
Okay, your castellano's good. You're a hybrid, basically. You grew up in an Argentine-speaking household?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, okay, like me.
Yeah. The problem is, the Spanish that I learned from my parents is from the 1940s. So, digo cosas como macanudo, que macanudo, entre pitos y flautas.
Yeah, Palito Ortega.
Expresiones que ya no existen más.
Yeah, macanudo. I give them macanudo a call. Macanudo.
Mi papá siempre decía, miércoles. Porque no se podía decir malas palabras en mi casa.
Yeah, for sure, macanudo.
¿Qué macanudo? Entonces me miran y no saben qué pensar porque
macanudo now would be like copado.
Macanudo, no existe más macanudo. ¿Entendés? Así que no, pero
okay, cool. You have no problem. It's good. You're hybrid.
I'm hybrid.
Yeah. We're like X-Men.
Which makes the transition living here, because I still have a lot of family in San Juan and in Córdoba and in Buenos Aires. So the transition to Argentina for me, because I kind of know it, is not that complicated.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That sounds good, man.
That's great. Going well.
Yeah, it's going well. So you like Argentina? Good times for Argentina? You having a good time?
Having a good time.
Meeting cool people.
As I'm here longer, I hope. One of the things I'm finding, for example, is I know a lot of business-related people, and I know a lot of family. Yeah. What I'm missing is kind of the social aspect outside of work, outside of family. So therein lies, maybe the pickleball group, and slowly start developing.
It's hard to find time for it. Your job sounds like it requires a lot of time, a lot of responsibility. When you're handling big amounts of money, I mean, it's not like, And also, you're selling tomatoes. It's like
I'm very gringo.
Yeah.
So I like to, this past weekend, I'm working on a transaction right now, so I'm live with a deal, and so I worked all weekend. And of course, I'm sending emails with presentations to all my Argentine colleagues. Do I hear anything from them at all during the weekend? No, because weekends are for family time and asados. So those are some of the cultural adjustments.
Sure.
What I know about, but choco con eso de vez en cuando.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique place to do business.
I'll tell you, if you have time, I'll tell you a funny story. So it's not unusual on Wall Street or in investment banking to get to the office early and obviously work late, right?
Yeah.
And so I can't get to the office before 8 a.m. because they don't open. The entire building isn't open before 8 a.m. So I guess, I'm up at 6. I spend 2 hours, I don't know, I read and stuff like that. And then the first couple of days, I worked until about 8 p.m. And I got stuck in the building because at 8, I think I left around 8:30. At 8 p.m., they shut the building. So I went down to the lobby, and it was all dark, and it was all closed. And they hadn't given me my key card yet. So they had told me sometimes if you go to the subsuelo and go out through the cochera, okay, I'll try it. But my key card wasn't working. So I literally got trapped in the building, and I had to call someone from the office saying, I'm stuck in the building. So, those are just those, I'm used to buildings being open 24/7 weekends. I mean, I had to work at 3 a.m. Okay, I work at 3 a.m. Here, no, it's a very structured way of living, which is fine. I don't judge it at all. It's just, you just need to do a little bit of readjustment.
What advice would you give to someone thinking of, I don't know, either doing business here or living here, moving here? What advice would you give them? What do they need to get used to, or just forget about what they, conceive as realistic? Or
you just have to adjust to the norms of
norms
of daily life.
The norms of no norms.
Some are no norms. I mean, I love it because I grew up with it, but the hugging, the kissing, the physical contact of greeting people, Gringos are definitely not used to that. Don't touch me, don't.
Don't put your chin.
That's too much. That's too much affection. So those types of norms, working norms. Yeah, I mean, I laugh. You have to have a sense of humor because if you get
to live here,
you can't. Like just getting here today, and this happens in New York. It's not something. Happens a lot here, but I reserved the Uber to come here for 3:20 because it was saying 40 minutes to get here. I reserved the Uber. It gives me the little, sound that it's here. I go downstairs. I don't see him. So I look at my phone, and he's already on the trip. And so scam, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to charge me. He never picked me up. He didn't even show up.
And the invisible man.
And so, and then I had to, at the last minute, I called a last minute Uber, and I get in and I said, "Do you have air conditioning?" And he said, "Yes." So we rolled up the windows, and he said, I can't close the window on the passenger side. I said, "Okay, so what? Turn on the AC." "Oh no, I can't turn on the AC if there's a window open." So you just here. I'll leave it at this. In Argentina, you have to go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Just go.
Se complicó.
You just have to go with the flow. And at the margin, you can push some boundaries a little bit because when I say that I'm from New York, I was like, oh, he has different standards, but you just have to laugh and go with the flow.
Yeah.
I think those would be my two words of advice. And then enjoy, because it's gorgeous. It's amazing here.
Yeah.
And everybody that comes here then just does not want to leave here.
Sure. Yeah, BA is like a boomerang.
There's
It's an
a
amazing
magic.
country. Yeah,
It's a magic.
There's a magic. There's an energy. The people also. I always tell people that three phrases that anyone coming down here, even Argentines, live by, which I think should be part of the Constitution, is no pasa nada, está todo bien, y cuando no está todo bien, se complicó. In the case of the Uber, se complicó. Se complicó. And what are you going to do? When se complica, you just got to move on.
You have to move on. The flip side to that is that's one of the reasons things really don't change in Argentina for the better, because they just accept the crap that happens without having a standard of that's unacceptable. We can do better. Everybody's like, se complicó. Who cares? On to the next thing. So it's good, but it's also part of the problem, which is if no one's going to care about anything, then nothing's really going to ever change, right?
My wife is a seamstress, right? She's got this sewing machine. It's a really, it's a professional sewing machine.
Right.
It was leaking oil. So she takes it to the place. It's like the place. If you had a Mercedes, you would take it there. So it's like the place to take your sewing machine. She takes the sewing machine. She tells me, hey, it's leaking oil. Okay, we're going to fix it. It's going to cost you 175,000 pesos. We'll fix the leak. Everything will work fine. There was a little thing was missing, a cap. They needed a little cap. So they did everything. They took the machine. They brought it to the house, blah, 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 blah. It kept on leaking oil. And it didn't have the little cap. So she called up, said, hey, listen, it's continuing to leak. It's still leaking oil. I'm missing the cap. Oh, no, we'll go have someone pick it up and take it, and we'll bring it. Someone came over, really cool. Someone came over. They took it back. They fixed it. They put the cap on it. They brought it back. She tried it. It was leaking oil. It was leaking oil all over the place. Someone came, got it. I said, okay, it's ready. We're going to have to charge you $15,000 for the oil. She said, no, but I took it there, to get the leak fixed, and now you want to charge me for the oil? So finally, she got mad, and she said, I'm not paying it. Okay, well, here you go. It's fine. She took it. Everything's fine. It works fine. She didn't pay $15,000, but she wound up spending $175,000 get the oil fixed, and they wanted to charge her for the oil. So, but she stood up for her right.
You have to.
You have to. It's like when you go somewhere, it's like the customer's not right. The customer has to you're gonna be the one that's gonna wait on me. I'm gonna treat you nice because I'm the customer, and I'm supposed to be nice to you instead of you being nice to me as the customer. So that's the mentality. I think something's got to change.
It's a giant game of musical chairs, shifting the blame to somebody else or trying to scam the net. I got scammed, so therefore I'm going to scam you. It's just a vicious cycle.
It's a bicycle.
It's a bicycle. Yeah, but yeah, it's good for your wife. You have to say something.
Yeah.
And some of my Argentine family, even when my daughters were visiting me and we were in restaurants and there was something I'm not petty, but if there's something off, sure. I'm not just going to sit idly by. I'm also not going to make a super duper scene, but I'm going to tell them that there's something wrong, and that they roll their eyes, saying, but you have to. Yeah. And I wish that were everywhere in this society, because I think things would get better, and the client would end up being the beneficiary of that, because then people have to compete. If you want my business, you better give me the best service at the best price. It's a very gringo perspective, but that's where I crash into the local customs. Now, fortunately, because I'm from here and and I've seen this
you understand
before.
it, yeah.
I get it.
It's in your blood.
And I'm not stunned or shocked or annoyed by it. It's just, God, I wish they would. I wish they would get it. That, you know, if they don't change that, then what's the incentive to make anything better?
Sure.
Good stuff.
All right. Good stuff.
Philosophical.
Good stuff. Very philosophical. All right. Okay, Daniel, we're out of time, but I want to thank you for joining us today and filling us with insight. It was really insightful. I appreciated every moment and every word of everything you said.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. It's been fun, and let's make it a regular thing. We'll come back and have a different topic du jour. All
right, we'll see what happens in this throughout this year. Never a dull moment in Argentina.
Never a dull moment, and now never a dull moment anywhere in the world.
Yeah. And never a dull moment on the Gringos and Buenos Aires podcast. I'll catch you next time for another dose. Ciao for now. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
All right.